Here's your host, Dennis Rimmer.
And thank you for tuning in. It's Talking Books and Stuff's podcast. So thank you for joining us. And today we have with us, calling from a cell phone in her car. It was an adventure. And Caroline Woowward is with us. And we're going to talk about, have you ever heard a whale exhale? So thank you, Caroline, for getting to us today.
You're very welcome. I'm driving our new hybrid car home, and the Slocan Valley, a lot of it doesn't have cell phone reception.
Oh boy.
So, yeah, I'm parked in a shady spot in 35 degrees in my new car.
Oh, great. Okay, well we're cooler. We're only at 30 degrees. So
Oh, Lord above, yes.
yes. So Carolyn, have you ever heard a whale exhale? It's a book, a picture book with illustrations by Claire Victoria Watson. What was the inspiration for this book?
It came directly from my work as a lighthouse keeper for 13 years in BC, and of being in the Leonard Island Lighthouse, which is just off Tofino. And every May, while I was waiting to do my weather reports in the our radio building, we had a fabulous view of all the gray whales spouting along the western horizon, heading from Mexico to the Bering Sea off Alaska. And it was just a miracle of nature, and I would look at all those little spouts with my binoculars or with my bare eye, and I would think, I've got to write about that someday. But, you got to find the right format, the right genre, because I write for adults and kids, and to make a story out of it, or make a long poem out of it in this case.
And what does a whale sound like when it exhales?
Well, I have been downwind of one, actually, and it just is a big whooshy puff. And if you're downwind of one, you will be enveloped in krill breath, which is a little bit like mild fish breath. Those tiny shrimp.
Right.
Those big marine mammals love to eat. Yeah.
So, how did you and the illustrator Claire Victoria Watson? How did you combine for this? Did you send pictures and images and words back and forth, or how did all that work?
Well, as is often the case, the publisher, then the editor, they like to match make the sensibility of the text with the aesthetics of the artist. And I had paddled or boated into Tofino a couple of times a year, and I would buy these wonderful little quirky cards. And then they were by an artist called Claire Victoria Watson. And then I noticed, Tofino garbage cans, beautifully painted, and surfboards, beautifully painted in restaurants and things, and, Claire Victoria Watson. And so I thought, well, it would be great. And every month in the Tofino Times newspaper would be a coloring page for children done by Claire. So when some years later, I had this picture book text accepted by Pownell. They asked, do you have any suggestions, for an illustrator? And I said, as a matter of fact, you should check the website of Claire Victoria Watson. She's designed 4 coins, including a loonie for the Royal Canadian Mint. She's done all sorts of commissions. She can do anything.
Wow.
2 or 3D. And so it doesn't usually happen this way, David. They usually like to keep you apart, but for this they said, oh yes, she totally gets it. And maybe my writing was even influenced, hoping I could get Claire to be an illustrator. This is her first book. And the editor sent her all my little poems, my rhyming poems of all the different sea creatures and birds. And then the editor asked me, do you have any images that are really strong for any of these pages? And for a few of them I did, based on my life years. And so I said, I could just sort of see, kids dancing with an octopus or something. Or I can see, the nosy harbor seal popping out of the ocean and looking around. But, a lot of it is about giving the artist the space to just bounce off your words and have fun with it. And there was only a few pages where, where the editor Mo got a hold of me and said, we're sort of stuck on the anemone, and that's a really big word. I said, oh, but it's such a great word, and enemy rhymes with anemone. Right. So I was reluctant to give that one up. And so then, we put our heads together, and I wrote down a thought or two about what I thought it might look like. And Claire just jumped at it and took it up to a whole new level. And, it is just a wonderful long-distance collaboration. And I finally got to meet Claire in person, in 3D, herself, a week and a half ago when on the tour that we did a number of stops together on Vancouver Island, going to bookstores and giving readings and answering questions and signing books and so forth. And she's every bit as delightful in person as she is on paper,
Yet, have you ever touched a sea anemone closing up in case you are an enemy? Oh,
yes, exactly. Yes.
Have you ever danced with an octopus? No, but ask your friends, because we will need more of us, etc. Yeah. So, and you exactly, you've got a little bit there about sea lions. Yeah, they are kind of stinky, aren't they?
Oh, massively so. When we worked at Pachina Point Light Station, which is on the West Coast Trail, and I'm sure some of the many hikers in Canada who have done this will know the trail. There are some big rock outcroppings at low tide, especially, where the sea lions like to haul out. And then they roll around, and the kids love this. They roll around and they do number 1 and number 2, and they roll around. They fight and, they shove each other around, and then roll around and go number 1 and number 2 some more. So, when you're downwind of this messy bunch, oh my, they do need the bath,
Oh, that's right. So, the book has been out a while. Are you meeting great success with it?
Well, judging by the early reviews and the people and the kids, most importantly, that have come out, we're really, really delighted with its reception. And and preschool and kindergarten teachers and grade 1 teachers, they love it because it deals with all the different senses, including feeling secure, feeling like you're belonging in a group, way beyond the just touch, taste, sight, sound, smell. There's all these different feelings, including like wishing you could fly like an eagle, and all the different ways that we sense danger or seek companionship, and those are senses too. And so I kind of want to provide a few examples, or just a lighthearted way, so kids have the vocabulary to express those feelings too. And so if you're feeling like an anemone, well, that's your good inbuilt radar telling you to back away get away from a situation, you know.
Right. So is it a certain age, like up to what, grade 2 or something like that, or?
Yeah, you nailed it. I feel like what my husband says is if they're trapped in a lap, 3 is fabulous. And then if you are a good reader, or you love stories because your parents have always read to you, 4s and 5s are totally dialed in. But I just did a reading yesterday in the Cusp Public Library, and there were little girls there that were 8, 9 in that area, and a 6-year-old, and they were so proud because they could read words like octopus and anemone and sea lions. You know, they could read to themselves. So it does cover, I would say, 3 to 7, 3 to 7, 8 easily.
In that range, right? And so what do you hope the book accomplishes again?
Well, really, I would have to say that children and the adults, of course, we all get refresher courses when we're raising kids, get to connect with how we have feelings in common with other creatures, and how when you're out in nature, you know, you make sure to try and avoid stepping on a shell which might have a little creature in it, or that we don't throw rocks at oyster catchers when they're trying to eat their lunch, and you know that we're kind to other creatures, and we're kind to each other, and yeah, I think that's really the message. You know, if we want kids to love this world, we got to take them out in it and show them the wonderful things in tidal pools and at low tide, and just get them wondering about all the world around them, and what makes it safe, and what makes it a beautiful place to be.
Have you given up your lighthouse keeping career now?
Well, yes, I retired in March of 2021, and now I'm just a vagabond. I'm traveling around, and I'm working on new books in the beautiful little village of New Denver, British Columbia, on the shores of Slocan Lake. Yeah.
Yes, and that's sort of in the Kootenays, right?
Yes, the West Kootenays. Yes.
And the book is Have You Ever Heard a Whale Exhale? The story by Caroline Woowward, who's been our guest. Art by Claire Victoria Watson, who actually lives in Victoria now. Published by Pownall Street Press. Did I pronounce that right?
Yes, Pownall Street Press in Charlottetown, PEI.
Great. Well, thank you for calling us today, Caroline. We finally got together, so thanks a lot for your time today.
Oh, you're very welcome, David. It's been a pleasure for me, too.
Actually, it's Dennis, but that's fine.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Have I been calling you? I've even wrote it down as Dave.
That's my brother, David. I'm Dennis.
We don't want him getting the credit, do we?
Oh, heck no. He's got a big enough head as it is, so. Okay.
Oh, dear.
Thank you.
Thank you for visiting with us today. This is Talking Books and Stuff with Dennis Rimmer. Contact him at dennis@talkingbooks.tk. Thank you, and may all the good news be yours. Oh, and don't forget to check out his book, The Great Canadian Notebook, available across Canada and at amazon.ca.